Hello, welcome back to the channel. Today we are looking at a matter that has left many South Africans talking. An employer, a local man, who has been knowingly hiring illegal foreigners has finally been exposed and arrested. The issue of undocumented workers in South Africa has been a topic of heated debate, and this case has added even more fuel to the fire. Make sure you stay with me till the end so you can see the sources and try to verify this news for yourself. And before we dive deep into the details, don't forget to subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any updates on what's happening in our country. The arrest came after weeks of undercover investigations where authorities were monitoring not only the foreign nationals who were working illegally, but also those who were giving them the opportunities. This case highlights something many South Africans have been pointing out for years. It's not just about the undocumented workers themselves, but also about the employers who benefit from their cheap labor while ignoring the laws of the country. According to initial reports, this man had been employing foreigners without the right papers in his small manufacturing business. Neighbors and community members apparently noticed that many of the people working there were not locals and started raising concerns. Community pressure grew, and eventually the authorities stepped in to investigate. What they found was shocking but also not surprising to many. The business had been running with several undocumented workers, and the owner had no proper contracts or records for them. Now, when we talk about illegal employment, it's important to understand why it keeps happening. Employers sometimes prefer to hire undocumented workers because they can pay them less, avoid taxes, and bypass labor laws. This makes the business more profitable in the short term, but at the same time, it undermines local workers who are struggling to find jobs and contributes to high unemployment rates in South Africa. This is exactly why communities are frustrated. People are angry when they see foreigners, who don't have legal documents, working in jobs that could have gone to unemployed South Africans. The arrest of this man also sends a clear message that the government is starting to take the issue of illegal employment more seriously. For a long time, many people felt that authorities turned a blind eye, but this case shows that there is now a stronger push to hold not just the undocumented workers accountable but also those who give them opportunities. Because at the end of the day, you cannot solve the problem without addressing both sides. The matter is also raising bigger questions about how businesses operate in South Africa. Should we be focusing more on stricter inspections? Should there be heavier fines or even longer jail terms for employers who break the law? And how do we balance the need to protect local jobs while also dealing with humanitarian concerns around migration? These are the kinds of debates this case has triggered. Interestingly, when this man was arrested, some of the foreign workers tried to run away, while others pleaded with the authorities, saying they were only trying to survive. It's a reminder that while we need to protect our borders and enforce our laws, there are also human lives and struggles tied up in all of this. People cross into South Africa because they are desperate, but the problem becomes worse when local employers take advantage of that desperation. Communities in South Africa have long been vocal about their frustrations, and movements like Operation Jujula and others have brought more attention to this matter. Whether you agree with their methods or not, you cannot deny that their actions have forced the government and law enforcement to look more closely at what's happening on the ground. Cases like this one, where an employer is arrested, show that pressure from ordinary citizens can indeed push authorities into action. But while this man's arrest is being celebrated by some, others are saying it's only a drop in the ocean. There are hundreds, maybe even thousands, of other businesses across the country quietly hiring undocumented workers. Some in construction, some in hospitality, others in farming and factories. If the authorities are serious, this has to be the beginning of a much bigger crackdown, not just a single case. It also highlights how corruption plays a role. There have been many allegations that some officials accept bribes to look the other way when businesses hire illegal workers. Without cleaning up corruption, these arrests will remain isolated cases and not bring real change. Now, let's also look at how this affects ordinary South Africans. With unemployment rates sitting at some of the highest in the world, people want to know that the government is doing everything possible to prioritize locals for jobs. Seeing someone lose out on work because an undocumented worker was hired for cheaper wages is painful, especially for young people who are desperately searching for opportunities. For the undocumented workers themselves, this is also a tough situation. Many of them know they are breaking the law, but they also know that there are businesses willing to employ them regardless. That creates a cycle of demand and supply, which only continues until someone gets caught, like in this case. The next steps will be interesting to watch. The arrested man is expected to face charges related to contravening immigration laws and labor regulations. Depending on the outcome, this could set a precedent for how similar cases will be handled in the future. Communities are hopeful that this will not just be a once-off case, but the start of more accountability. South Africans are now asking bigger questions: who is benefiting from illegal employment, and why has it taken so long for the law to step in? Will this arrest really make a difference, or will things go back to the same way after the dust settles? At the end of the day, this case is not just about one man being arrested. It's about what it represents: a struggle for jobs, fairness, and accountability in South Africa. And while we can say justice has been served in this one case, the bigger fight is far from over. And now, before I wrap things up, let me lighten the mood a little. I must say, some people on social media were joking that this man should have known better. One person even said, if you're going to break the law by hiring illegal workers, at least don't do it so close to your neighbors, because South Africans don't play when it comes to reporting. Another person added, if you're going to risk it, you better make sure your workers don't start singing loud in the yard, because that's the first giveaway in our communities. You see, sometimes humor is how South Africans cope with serious issues. All images used in this video are for illustration purposes only. News sources: Sowetan Live, News 24, IOL, Times Live.